Hello everyone, welcome to Moe'S Tool Talk, and today I want to show you what is usually inside this cover here, but because I keep it on my wall, I put it separate. And of course we're talking about my favorite album of all time, Tool, Lateralus, and even though I have the CD, I'm going to get into showing you basically how I store it. And now that I have a much better camera than the first time that I showed it, I want to give you a better look at it and describe it a little bit as I go along. Now when I store it, I put it in between two crates, like two milk crates, upright, like perfectly straight upright. And so as you can see, I always have it in a plastic album cover thing, so it keeps as much dust off of it as possible. Now even opening it up is going to encounter a little bit of dust, and I have my trusty bounty sheet here to try to wipe some of that dust off as it goes along. I know it's going to get a little dusty. And I wear gloves. These are usually my work gloves, but these are brand new, unused gloves to keep the oils and that from the record. I do not ever want to touch it. It's never been touched with human hands. This will be basically maybe, I think, the third time that I open this up. The second time I actually videotaped it, and you can go back and watch that video if you like. It's not very clear, it's not very well done, so I don't suggest doing so. This is why I want to open it here again, hopefully for the last time, because I really want to keep it in mint condition. So I always keep these inner cardboards from the calendars which I put it in. And as you can see, I have a couple more here just in case. So here's the calendar I use, which is an old Star Wars one from 2018. And it's always right in the center. I keep the fold towards the like the opening where you take the record out towards the fold, so you always to try to keep the dust off of it as much as possible. So we're going to start with this one here right from the beginning. So disc 1, and we'll start with side A, which has The Grudge, Eon Blue Apocalypse, The Patient, Mantra, and then side B will have Schism, Parabola, and Disposition, which is a weird place to put Disposition because it usually is part of that trilogy, what they call the Holy Trilogy. But it's separated between this album and the other album. It's a little different than how it's put together on the CD. Now let's open it. Let's find the right opening here. And that is on this side, right here. Yeah, pretty much where it's lined up with the line. Oh, let me show you that first. And that's somewhat like it is on the back cover of the CD, with the cool little pattern on the corner here. That's what the other side kind of looks like, with all the circles intermixed together and stuff. But yeah, let's see if you can't see some of that detail. Get that close up. There we go. So we're going to open this up for the third time. Let's take that out, and we'll start with this would be side A, of course. And you can tell by that on the bottom, I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see where it has some writing on there. That tells you which side it's on. It's kind of hard to see that anyway, but see, and this is from my favorite artist of all time, Alex Grey. And you can check out Alex Grey's work that I showed. I had shown a card set for the Sacred Mirrors. I'll leave it right there, so you can check that out. Now I see some dust on there already. I want to carefully take it take that dust off of there. There we go. Yeah. And then here's side B. So yeah, there's side B. And so yeah, there's my favorite Alex Gray work right here. Some of the best stuff ever. Yeah, he's my favorite artist of all time. And I still see a little bit of dust there. I want to wipe that off very gently. I'm not pressing hard at all. I do not want to scratch it, leave any prints, no oils, nothing like that. So I'm going to put it back into the sleeve very carefully now that I showed you. Oh yeah, yeah. Stick that on the side for now. Now we're going to disc 2. And we're going to, and there's, on side C, as it would be called, you have ticks and leeches, lateralis, and reflection. And on side D, oh no, sorry, side C. Side C has ticks and leeches and lateralis, only 2 tracks. Side D has reflection, triad, and fiat de oad. And they stated that, because usually it's, the trilogy would be disposition, reflection, and triad. But you see how, I'll show you right here. You see how those 3 connecting dots with the line through it, they're calling that the trilogy on the LP, which is on the CD. It's a different trilogy. I think that's interesting how they did that. Give you another quite a look close up here. So now I'm going to open, and again, it's always where the line, hopefully I'll show you that clear. So you see how that line comes out here? That line is connecting where the opening is for the album. So you can always find out exactly where the opening is for that. Instead of having to, hey, is it this side, is this side? No, it's always on that side. Now I'm going to take that album out carefully, check for dust, and put that aside for now so I can show you. And this would be side, okay, here's side C. That's side C right there. Some beautiful Alex Gray work for sure. And this is side D. Yeah, I know because it's also written on the outside. Now that's kind of hard to see, but there is right on. Let me see if I can't show that. No, it's not gonna. That's not gonna pick up at all. But it is actually written there. I know exactly where I'm looking to see it. Now I want to take off that dust. I see dust on that. And yeah, oh yeah. Turn it the other side. See if there's any dust. I really baby this thing. Want to keep it in the best condition. Oh, it looks so perfect. I mean, look at that. There's not a scratch. There's barely any dust on it. Yeah, it will play perfect if being played. So I'm going to put it right back into the sleeve again. And try not to hit my microphone. And yeah. So I always put the openings, right? When I go back to store it, I'll put the opening always facing into the, and I try to find the middle page of the calendar, the very center of it, which would be, let me find that. Yeah, it has to be in the center page so it doesn't, now, sorry about that. I could make this an MSR, an AMSR video. Yeah. Yeah, Chewbacca Chewbacca's the center, so Chewbacca gets to hold these records for me. Always in the center of that, fold it in there, and you see how it's the perfect size to hold that in there. Then on either side, I like to put the cardboard just to give it that extra little uprightness to it, so it doesn't warp. And I keep it right in between two milk crates so that it stays right perfectly stable and they're stuck together. So, and then I make sure that it's doubly protected by putting that in a certain point in towards the back to keep as much dust off of it as possible. And then stick it in there. Yeah, there we go. Come on, get in there. Yeah. There we go. Oh yeah, I have to baby this thing because it's just so important to keep it in the best condition as possible. And that's how I like to store and handle this record. To keep it in the best condition as humanly possible. So I'm going to also leave at the end of this video right here in this corner why this album means so much to me. If you haven't seen that yet, please check that out, because it is the cornerstone of my the cap piece of my whole morality and philosophy of life. I take so much out of Tool, and I jokingly say that Tool is my religion. I'm not a religious person, but I take the sacred words of the Book of Tool, which you can also check that video out too. In there, I have created my own Book of Tool, and I might leave that. I might leave it here in this corner. Usually, I leave a playlist here, but I will put that on this corner here so you guys can check that out. Now, having said all that and showing you my favorite item, it's probably my favorite possession of all time. I love it. I'm gonna leave it here because I can ramble on and on and on about this album, so I'm not gonna bore you with all that. But I'm just gonna leave it here and say, as always, be safe, take care. I will see you on the flip side, and please have a great day, evening, night, wherever you may be. Peace, everybody.